guys, it's me, TwinklePhoenix, and welcome back to Underfell by the darkpetal16, who I've actually really enjoyed seeing your comments and what you think of my playthroughs. And I also noticed that you actually linked my videos up on the 2 game pages. I feel very honoured. Thank you so much. I also feel very flustered right now. Okay, so moving on. Welcome to the Gaster route. Sorry, Dr. Wingading's Gaster. I need to call him by the correct name because he's not just like Gaster. He's literally got a full title, which is Dr. Wingading's Gaster, the missing / presumed deceased older brother of Papyrus and Sans, and who's a boss monster. So, if indeed you were watching this and I've uploaded these all in the correct order, at this point you should have already seen Sans' route, Papyrus' route, Grilby's route, and the Harem route, and the only routes left is Gaster and Ezreal, as well as the friendship route. But knowing me, that's probably not how it went. So, in case I didn't upload these or they didn't go up in the right order, I am sorry. Forgive me. I will try not to mention too many spoilerish things, but I don't know what order these went up, so forgive me. Now, as you can see on the screen, we have a Gaster, a Dr. Wingading's Gaster, whom I actually drew myself because Bony Hot Scrub doesn't include a Gaster, so I couldn't use him. And you probably noticed in the Harem mode he wasn't actually on the screen. The reason being I was still working on him while I was recording that. And since you guys really wanted the Harem mode up, I got that up. Now, we are going, as I said, after Gaster. Now, here's the thing. Gaster is one of those characters who does not pop up straight away. Unlike Flowey, who you meet at the very start, which is why I'm going after Flowey last. Because his playthrough, his amount of videos is going to be much longer because he's with me more times than any other character in the whole entire game. So, yes, Flowey actually also has got many, many different drawings for him, which I've made. Happy Flowey, Sad Flowey, Ezreal, and so on. Like, he gets a lot. I spoil that little flower. But back to our Gaster here, our skeleton of this route. I, of course, have taken us all the way to Hotland, because that's pretty much when we first meet him. I haven't flirted with anyone, because thankfully by playing the Harem route, Gaster said something super important to me, which is the fact that he gets jealous, and that he wouldn't tolerate anyone but his 2 brothers. But since I didn't want to risk breaking his route by flirting with Sans or Papyrus, since I now know that there's a Harem route implemented when I'm recording this, I decided not to flirt with them. I can assure you I died a lot of times because of Sans. I am not amused. Not at all. I am not amused whatsoever with Sans at the moment. I love him to pieces, but I'm still not amused. So, by here, this is the end of Waterfall. This will give us a recap of everything that, everything about my character as well as everything we've done so far. So let's just go through this first and then I'll talk a bit more after that. Okay. How are you shaping up so far? You are a human, and you fell into Underfell again because you just love falling down here. This seems to be like your favourite pastime. While you're in a black sweater with 2 pink stripes. I can confirm I have many sweaters with many different coloured stripes. I just chose to wear pink. That way, it's a girly colour. Or, it just speaks. It's not like too dark, so I'm not like exactly matching the boys. Either way, it is long enough to cover your hips because Gaster has touchy-feely hands. Gaster likes to grab my legs and things, okay? So I thought ahead and decided to cover. But then I completely forgot to put on jeans, didn't I? And I put on a skirt, and then I remembered I was going with Gaster, but it was too late to change that, so yeah. I at least covered the butt. Kind of. Actually, no, I should have technically covered my butt, shouldn't I? Not up to my hips, because my hips are higher up here. Oh, dear. Oh, well, I thought I covered myself. I didn't, apparently. I left myself completely open to Gaster's hands. Gosh darn it. You have beautiful red and pink eyes. The reason why I chose pink and red is because, 1, pink matches my lovely jumper I'm wearing, and 2, the red eye matches the boys. And you have a charming black soul. The reason why I chose the black soul is because I want to know what exactly the black soul represents, since I know that the pink soul represents creativity, whereas the white soul represents the monsters. So what does the black represent? So we're going to find that out as well. You gave Tori a hug before you left the ruins, because if you don't, why wouldn't you give Mama Tori a hug? Mama Tori is suffering. Mama Tori has lost her child. Mama Tori is literally to watch kids be stupid and go out the door, or you get murdered instantly by a freaking handshaking skeleton of doom. Anyway, sorry. I'm sure she hasn't forgotten your kindness. I certainly hope not. When meeting Papyrus for the first time, you immediately thought he looks cool. And very, very freaking tall, because he's a very tall skeleton. Like, super freaking tall. It took you more than one try to get through the maze. That's okay. Allow me to explain what happened. And here's my explanation. Brace yourselves. This was the reason. Poppy jumped on the keyboard. Yep, my cat got me killed. But that's fine. She's cute. I can forgive her. Moving on. And of course, Poppy is currently 10 months. Soon she's going to be 11 months come next month. She's not yet a full year old, but she's adorable and has grown on me. Moving on. You in total have died 11 times. You could have died less. Yes, I could have, but I can't say mad at Poppy for that, you know. But that's okay. At least the next era will be warmer. Your poor toes can finally have a break. You have a stick. Wonder what that can mean. Word of advice to everyone, never forget the stick. You will regret if you don't have the stick. You need the stick. The stick is important. You still have the mysterious chain. It looks important. What do you think it is for? I now know what that is for, but I also think the chain does strongly matter for Gaster's route. Because if I don't get an option to flirt with him in the lab, my only other idea of when I can start his route is it has to be during the locket then, because otherwise I have no clue. I don't get to interact with Gaster as much as I do with some of the other characters, so yeah, I don't know where this is going. Shyren will remember your song. You saved a child. What a hero. Hopefully you can get your hands treated soon, and you're on the friendship route. That is so wonderful. Now at this point, I know some people are like, it says friendship route, aren't you supposed to be romanticizing the skeleton? I know, but patience. Think about it logically. I haven't bumped into Gaster yet, so how can I woo a skeleton that I haven't even met yet? You know? So it makes sense I'm on the friendship route, but I also need to be super careful now because, as I said, there's an incident with Flowey in here where Flowey can accidentally break the route and cause me to either go on a neutral route or it counts as like me flirting with Flowey. Kind of. Or at least I feel like it is kind of me flirting with Flowey. I don't know if that's the case, by the way. There is a way I can like mess this up probably. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go extra carefully through this. So how are we going to do this? Much like what I did with Grillby, I'm going to of course take us up to the section with Gaster and only cover the scenes that have Gaster or are in some way connected to his character or important events that I need to cover for it to make sense. Or what I think will probably make sense. Trust me, have I led you guys wrong so far? Why did my accent go Scottish? What the hell? It either went Scottish or it went Irish. My Tammy is coming through. Bad Tammy, go back to the depths from whence you came. Hi, sorry. Good, go back, Tammy. I don't need you for this. Okay, so let's start the lab. So, we approach the door. Someone here needs your help, and it's up to you to save them. And you will. You're filled with determination. You make an attempt at the keypad. Most past scores give you 3 tries, so 2 guesses should be fine. Your first guess is completely wrong, and the door light flashes red, and the metal plate slides over the keypad. Okay, guess not this keypad. No, because Alphys is like, no, 1 attempt and that's all you get. Sorry, wrong voice. 1 attempt and that's all you get. You don't get into my lab otherwise. No trespassers allowed. Okay. Oh, golly gosh, what a shame, says Flowey. Guess we should leave now, because, yeah, Flowey doesn't want us going in there. There's, like, no point. I mean, we can't do anything now, right, says Flowey. Come on, let's leave. The royal sign isn't worth it. Effort, trust me. Besides, we can't open that big door now, not with the keypad covered up. Nothing you can do? There is a way, though, isn't there? A way to undo. You're going back in time before, haven't you? As you call your soul, sure you can call that other thing. That sensation of coming back to life. You focus on your soul, and it beats in tandem to your heart. You can do this, can't you? Yes, you can. Let's defy all the laws of nature. Let's go and plunge into the wrongness of the void. I'm sure we won't feel icky gross later. You breathe out slowly and focus on the last time you felt determination. Your world tilts and everything goes black. I can only imagine what Flowey's looking at. 1 second, Flowey's like looking at the door, and either you fall back with Flowey, or Flowey's just like, huh, friend, are you okay? What's wrong? Hey, speak to me. Oh my god, did you just die suddenly? What happened? You feel hands on you. Everything seems slow and uncomfortable. There's this immediate sense of wrongness about the situation that triggers a sense of panic within you. It probably has nothing to do with the fact there's hands all over you. I mean, I'd be more alarmed at the fact someone's touching me. Death was bodiless, and you had no sensation. Here you arguably can feel too much. You were somewhat cold and so very not alone, if the hands are anything to go by. A shudder goes through you. Well done, child. You blink away the darkness. Well, that was something. But you did it. You're back in the laboratory before you tried the keypad. You decide to guess a few more combinations. This might take some time, but that's something you have plenty of. When the door locks you up again, you know what you have to do, and you go back into that void. There are hands on your shoulders, there are hands on your arms, and there's hands on your waist, and there's hands on your legs. Like, my goodness, there's a lot of hands on you. Very handsy. You cannot see and you cannot move. You're in a cold, black, inky sludge that weighs you down. And then you hear that voice again. Because you are you. Why is this just going to be the constant thing I hear? Probably like as you're dying. Like, for real. That's the last thing I'm going to hear. They're going to put that on my grave. Because you are you. It's a distortion. It comes out staticky and glitchy in your head. Like listening to a broken radio. And I am me. It buzzes and cracks. It hurts to listen to. You want to flinch away from it, but you cannot move. And it feels like it's inside you. I will help you. The hands tighten around you. 071316. We're fair play to Gaster for helping us here. That he quickly assesses the situation and like he's all on board for helping you. He doesn't know if you're a good person at all up to this point. You've just come into this void and he's like just so happy that he's got like companionship in a sense. He's got someone there with him and he's like totally down for helping you break into the lab. He doesn't know why you're doing it. I at least don't think he's aware why you're doing it. Unless he can see through your eyes, but, you know, fair play to him. Willing to help us out during the situation. Is he, like, aware that Alphys is in trouble? Because Alphys is technically one of his friends. But the thing is, we know that he can't even remember his own name up to this point. So, yeah. Fair play. So a round of applause for Gaster for being, like, fair play to this monster. Nice of him. He doesn't like flat out attack you or anything. He's just helping you and he's keeping you grounded because as long as he holds you, he has a semblance of awareness to himself. I like this. I really do. When you're back again, whole, warm, alive, and not in the void, you cannot help but reflexively suck in a deep gulp of air. You shudder. You feel like you need a cold shower for your soul to cleanse that wrongness. Death was nothingness, but when you reset, you're in a place that is neither alive nor dead. Where are we? Are we in, like, the loading screen? You can only call it a void because you have no other words to describe it. It was an uncomfortable place. It feels wrong. It's very, very wrong. 071316. Those were the numbers that voice gave you. If they worked, what does that mean? You make your way over to the door. Your hand shakes as you type in the number and the door slides open. Wow! First try! Good job! Flowey praises you. No, not the first. Not by yourself. You take a shaky breath. Although you're not in the void, its presence lingers on you like a wet blanket. It feels much more exhausting to reset than it does to die. What is that place? Why can you go there? Why is it so horrible? What you should be asking is, who is the person with all the hands? Why were they touching me? Why did they help me? Why were they there? There's like so many things going in your head at that point. But again, like, he helped you. He didn't have any reason to help you. He just did. But I also, it's due to the fact we now know later it's because you woke him up, which in a sense is amazing. Are you okay? Flowey asks you. You are okay. You can do this. You give him a tired smile. It's time to progress. Let's save Alphys. You enter that corridor and at once you see issues. Yes, we do. So, at this point, let's go by here. The tiles are sterile white, as are the walls. The fluorescent white flickers ominously. There's a partial cave-in down the hallway. Seriously, what the hell did Alphys do to break the lab? Like, what the hell was she doing to break everything? I'm so curious what on earth she was up to when it all just went to poop. Wall debris is stacked up upon each other as live wires and chunks of ceiling dangle from above. You cautiously walk down the hallway. You walk through the rubble, and it's a bit of a tight fit. There are only barely enough room for you and Flowey to crawl through. I think there's probably most definitely enough room for Flowey. Flowey's tiny. You hop onto the concrete rubble and start to make your way through. The light continues to flicker, makes it difficult to see. It also hits your eyes. You finally make it through to the other side. You swing your legs down and touch the floor. Ah! There's a zing of energy. It doesn't hurt. It's over too quickly to hurt. Well, biscuits, you died. And I think by here, didn't I say before that what Gaster says in the sequence series, like, it's lonely without you or something? Either way, top tip, if you're in a structure that has collapsed and you can see that there's working like lights and stuff, check where you land. You might get electrocuted by some like free wires. What the hell, character? I know it's dimly late, but at the same time be more self-aware that there is a chance you could die just by landing on something. My character's like, no, well, boom. Great, I died by electricity, once by Sans, now by the actual Alphys' building killing me. Well done, me. And 1 second, let me find out what exactly Gaster says by here. So let's see. So he says it is quiet without you. Oh, bless. Because yeah, it does get lonely in there. He's been alone for so long and sleeping. I'm so curious if he's aware that we die so much. Okay, so let's move on to the next section where we visit him. Alright, so we progressed on a bit further and we got past the electric water on the floor. The hallway is a dead end and every door is locked tight with passcodes. At least there's power to some of the doors, if not the lights. Time for repeat. You take a deep breath and feel a surge of determination inside of you. First try. You do your best to try and manifest that code you typed in the first time. Will it be so you can skip the void? You give it a shot and it doesn't work. Biscuits. With a grimace, you start to reset. Gah, it somehow got worse than the last time. You sink into the inky, cold sludge that feels like 1,000 centipedes, made of goo climbing across you. The little legs prick your skin and make it itch. Meanwhile, the sludge continues to pull you further into the darkness and weigh you down. You're simultaneously drowning in gunk while goo centipedes crawl across you. That is so disgusting. That is so creepy. It's not painful, but it's the sense of wrongness you feel about the situation unnerves you. You feel nauseous. Then the hands are on you again. There is a way. Go through the vents. You return to reality and shudder. The distorted voice echoes in your mind, reverberating against your skull. You rub your arms to try and eliminate the lingering sensation when bugs crawl across you. Ugh. The voice suggested the vents. On the surface, vents are too small to crawl through. Perhaps it's different for monsters. You look for an air vent, and you find one at the bottom of one of the walls. It's easy to pry off once you get the good grip. With the light of your soul, which is really weird because I have a black soul, so I can't imagine the light from that is any good. You have no trouble finding your way, miraculously. There was a layer of grime and dust in it, though. Yeah. And there was a ladder attached to each vent going down, so you can actually move down floors. Which, again, fair play to Gaster. This also proves to our character, Gaster is aware of the layout of the building. We should technically have, latched on to that. He knew about the vents, which makes me wonder, did he at any point have to use the vents himself? Was there a situation that required him to crawl through the vent? Probably. I mean, he did a lot of experimentation. Gosh, the tales he could tell. But again, fair play to Gaster. And fair play to my black soul, which somehow illuminated the darkness for me. Well done, soul. You do impressive things from time to time. I'm proud of you. Alright, so after taking Gaster's advice, we've gone further down. Now we get a choice of exploring the floor we're currently on or jumping down to the next one. So at this point, I'm going to probably go through all the sequences in here, since they technically all do relate to Gaster as a whole. So yeah, I'm gonna read these parts. So let's continue exploring this floor. We're gonna enter the room on the far right. As soon as you enter the room, you feel an unnatural chill. A shiver inches its way down your spine, even the hair on the back of your neck standing. Ugh. Everything in the room was well protected from fire because it's all mostly metal and tempered glass. This looks like an operating room. There are metal tables in the center of the room. There's a clipboard with some paper next to one of the trays. You pick it up. It's dated a month ago. There's a sticky note on top of it that reads, "Delayed dissection to prioritize expansion in the East per King's orders." Why would he need an expansion in the East? Transcription. Dissection of X63. This is Dr. Alphys about to perform the dissection of subject X63, brought in by the judge, aka Sans. Transcription for initial operations will now begin. Subject 63 was kept in a vacuum for 15 years, 6 months and 3 days. After death, the vacuum perfectly preserved the corpse. Because the human body is 80% water, keeping in a vacuum caused an interesting effect. The liquid in the body boiled, changing from liquid to gas. All tissues in the body expanded. Video shows embolism of the body upon entry of the vacuum. All liquid and gas poured out of the orifices and caused a near-instant freezing effect. Long pause. Death was in less than 2 minutes. Dissection will confirm cause of death. Rewatching the death video does support initial hypothesis that a vacuum ray gun would be lethal against humans. As most monsters do not have water, it is possible they would survive a shot. Too muffled to track. I wish Dr. Gaster was here to discuss. He's much more familiar with monster anatomy. Oh, bless. Missing him. Computer, please start the camera and have it aimed at the table. Oh, also please confirm its ventilation system is working properly. Human corpses always reek. I hope no more humans fall down here. Long pause. Computer, please make note subject 63 has a dog tag that reads Nathaniel Cross. Please update our records to rename him. Long pause. I'm going to start now. End transcript. Oh my god, poor Nathaniel. You set the clipboard down and look at the operating table, or rather, dissection tables. You move around the room and peruse some of the papers. It looks like there were many more dissections in this room. The captured humans, the monsters tested, ways to have them effectively killed. From the notes between the scientists, they were searching for ways that would kill humans without hurting monsters. That's not surprising when you stop to think about it. From what you've gathered, the monsters have not had good encounters with humans. They're isolated, closed off, and the human who previously fell down here were flat out hostile and probably deserved instant death. Or slow death, depending on if they were murderers or not. You know that's not the way humanity is now. Looking at these timelines, you think these humans fell down around the time of the Great War. It's understandable why they would be hostile. It's a tragedy on both sides. the monsters, the humans. You can only hope to make things better going forward. You want to show them that humanity has changed. If you can do that, then maybe everyone will be happy. It looks like there's something else you can do in this room. Looks like there's nothing else you can do in this room. Okay, so now we're going to enter the left. This is where we get to see the books. So we're going to definitely look through the books. I'm going to pay close attention to the boss monster book. Because that's what Gaster was mentioned in that one. So we'll take a look at that one now. This room doesn't seem as destroyed as the hallway. The ashes and the charred covers the walls, but the center of the room is untouched. There are bookcases there, and they're encased by some kind of glass wall. Perhaps a safety measure activated when the fire was detected. Again, what was Alphys doing to make a freaking fire? What in the earth was she up to down there? You approach the glass-encased bookshelves. Many of the titles are written in a language you cannot read, but you do see a few books you can. It'd be nice to take a closer look at them. You put your hand on the glass, curious you can find a latch. Or a hatch. The moment your fingers touch it, the glass slides up from the ceiling. The books are free to be examined. We will go boss monsters. Okay, so. Boss monsters. An introduction to boss monsters in this very large tome with the strongest types of monsters. Boss monsters are born with a significant boost to their attributes as well as unique abilities. Okay. So we're just going to go down here. So, Asgore Dramir is alive. Ezreal Dramir is also alive. He's just become Flowey. We haven't seen Breaker Maker. We haven't seen Cinema. I'm assuming half of these people have died. Papyrus, River Person, the Judge. I could have sworn I saw Nathaniel's name once in here. Must have not been. Either way, where is he? Winged Ding's Gaster missing. I could have sworn before that said he was dead. But it actually states he's missing. Okay, so they have not stated that he's dead. He's just genuinely missing. Alright, that's good to know. I was like confused whether or not he was marked as deceased or if he was missing. You run your fingers down the wrist to think you've encountered 2 boss monsters and live. Technically, we have counted Winged Ding's Gaster and Die. The Judge being Sans, that's 3. Papyrus is another one, that's 4. And then, of course, we counted 5. Ezreal. Yeah. Tori, Winged Dings, and Die. Alphys isn't in here. She doesn't count as a boss monster, really. I mean, I guess it would make sense she doesn't count as a boss monster since it's not like she's actually genuinely, like, attacky. I mean, in this world she is, but the fact she's not listed as a boss monster. Or Metatron. Which I'm honestly glad to see Metatron is not included here. Anyway, you're pretty badass. You wish you had the time to really read the books in depth, but you do have someone to save. It is best to only do a cursory examination for now, and you put the book away. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go through these, and then I will be right back when we enter the next section. Okay, there is one more book we do need to read, and this is because it just mentions Dr. Gaster. This book is more like a collection of loose papers stapled together. Its handwritten with the papers are yellowed with age. There are several different handwriting styles on it and sticky notes attached to some pages. The barrier. The barrier requires maintenance every 10 years. It was initially placed over Underfell by 7 human wizards to keep the monsters sealed and hidden. It deteriorated over the course of the century, and without maintenance it will evaporate. Magic must be constantly supplied to the barrier, which is achieved using Dr. Gaster's core. Every 10 years a human soul must be fused into the barrier to maintain the extra enchantment requested by the king. You stop reading. The monsters are keeping the barrier up by choice. You flip through the page to see if you can find a reason, but you don't. It only talks about the spell used to cast the barrier as well as how to maintain it. You sigh as you put it back. So yes, technically the barrier is only up as well due to Dr. Gaster's core, but to keep the barrier strong as can be, we need the human souls, which the Judge, aka Sans, does a really good job at supplying an endless supply of these goddamn things. And people keep falling down here because they're stupid. Moving on. So, now we're going to go through the little gap in the wall. Let's get going, folks. We're still going to find Alphys. She's around here somewhere. You carefully climb through the gap in the back wall. You're greeted by something unexpected. While the hole looks heavily burnt, the room is untouched. Again, what did Alphys do? It looks like some kind of workroom. There are desks in the back room. each of them filled with stacks of papers and books. There are microscopes and several monitors spread across the other desks. The left side of the room is nothing but bookshelves filled with books written in a language you cannot read. The right side of the room has an operating table with straps on it. Oh dear. And some kind of weird machine over the top of it. The machine has metal tweezers, needles, and strange contraption. You cannot begin to guess their function. Correction, I can guess, I just don't want to elaborate. I'm glad that I'm not strapped to that table. The right side of the room, yes, moving on. You approach the desk. There is a layer of dust over everything in the room. Not ash, just dust. Just to clarify. No one's been in the room for a long time. You take a look at the papers and your face crunches up. It's written in a strange language and you haven't seen these symbols before. Correction, you have seen these symbols before. Shut up. You know you can't read that, yet it feels like you should be able to. Looking at it gives you a strong sense of deja vu, and you carefully move some of the papers around, hoping to find something you can read. Which, of course, we can see a lot of wingedings here. So these are all to do with the void and time. So these are all to do with, like, Gaster's research into the void, as well as, is it like the connection to, like, the resets and stuff? Is that what all this is? It doesn't look like you can read any of this. What language is this anyway? It is wingedings. The more you look at it, the more you feel an itch in the back of your head. It looks like there's one piece of paper kept separate from the stack and you pick it up. So it's just tons of research into what he's doing. And this is the paper that Sans will translate later for us. So, no point in me translating it, since Sans will do it for me anyway. You see in the bottom right corner there's a date. You go back through the stats and check the dates on the other ones. It looks like this piece of paper in your hand is the latest entry, although it is 2 decades old. Has this room been hidden for over 20 years? Do you want to keep the paper? Yes, we do. We need to keep the paper. You carefully fold the paper and put it in your pocket with your dead phone. You're determined to find someone who can read this one day. You continue on your walk around the room. Oh, something catches your attention on the wall. It's a slight indent in the wall, and it's a different shade of white compared to the wall around it. You push it, and there's a click. Well done. You found a hidden door. Yay me. Alright, so let's do this. Let's see. I feel like it's a mysterious movie. Where's Watson? You step inside, your black soul light fills the room, which again I question how my black soul is able to pierce through the darkness with its own darkness. Because it's a black soul. What kind of light does it give off? Maybe it gives off like UV light or something. You've entered some kind of hidden library. There are shelves upon shelves of binders filled with papers in strange language. You see more desks and chairs scattered around with papers spilling off the edges. There are bulletin boards, whiteboards, chalkboards, monitors hung up all around the walls. On the bulletin boards are pictures and diagrams with strings pinned to connect to some of them. The chalkboards have large layers of chalk that has never been wiped away. The whiteboards are strangely enough filled with cute little cartoonish doodles, weirdly. You think some of them remind you of papyrus. It's a chaotic mess, yet you feel like you understand it. There is an order to this chaos, you think. Whoever owns this room is a kindred soul. You thrive in chaotic mess. When you reach the back room, you see more notes. A lot of them are scrunched up, and you pick up one of the notes and smooth it out. Okay, so I'm actually really curious as to what this says right here. So, should I translate it? Okay, so if my translation is correct, it says, Her Majesty has requested I create a soul repressor to dull her connection with her soulmate. She has asked this to be created without His Majesty's attention. This will be difficult. I do not have a soulmate to test this on, and the soulmate tends to be overprotective of their partner. I am concerned Her Majesty will be the only live test for this. If I sever the connection entirely by accident, I'm sure His Majesty will try to kill me again. Sans, if you read this note after my dusting, please burn them all. Wait. Hold on. Is he talking about Tori? Is that why, Asgore didn't know where Tori was? Because aren't the soulmate thing, the bond and everything, you're supposed to be able to tell where your mate is? And I found that really weird that it said like Tori was missing and Asgore had no clue where she was, even though they were meant to have a connection. So, if I am not mistaken, this is Tori has asked Gaster to sever the connection between her and Asgore, because at this time, probably Asgore has made the kill or be killed thingy, and she is against it, and she just wants to hide, and she's not afraid of him, so she's asked him to, like, sever this thing. And he's telling Sans? Is that what this is? If that is so interesting. The Tory actually reached out to Gas, and that would explain why Asgore was unable to find Tory. Because she actually asked for this experiment to take place without his knowledge. Clever Mama Goat. Also bless Mama Goat. Poor Mama Goat. Having to go and do it this way? Poor Mama Goat. I feel sad for Tori. Also, Gaster risked a lot for her. But yeah, it's Her Majesty. So that is the female, correct? So that is definitely Tori. More of that old language. It makes the back of your brain itch. You place the note back and pick up another one. There are lines you can actually read on it. Okay, so if what I translated is correct, it says, did you finish building it? Which is Wingerdings at the top. So, did you finish building it? Yes. Any changes to the blueprints? No. Do you want to be one to test it for Her Majesty? Are you trying to kill me? I'm putting the older brother card. I'm pulling the I want to live card. Fine, thanks. You owe me an experiment. I'm pulling like I want to live card again. You can't keep pulling that. What are you gonna do? Kill me? In that case, I'm pulling the I want to live card again. Stars, help your soulmate. Stars, help yourself. Is this like back and forth banter between the brothers? This is, isn't it? So, this is back and forth banter. So, when he says, like, stars help your soulmate. So, Gaster is talking about the fact, God help your soulmate when you have one. And Sans is like, no, stars help yours. So, yeah, I think that's what this is. This is Gaster talking to Sans, and they're going back and forth, talking more about this experiment that Tori wants done to do with, like, the soulmate bonding thing to break it. And he wants Sans to test it out, but Sans is like, no, I don't want to die. So Gaster is trying to use, like, the fact that he's the older brother, you know, like, do this for me. And he's like, no, I'm going to pull this on you because I want to live. I actually care, you know, I do want to live through this. So it's back and forth banter between the brothers, just torn back and forth. Although you can only read half of it, this strange makes you smile. Oh, you see a small note taped to the wall, and you can read some of the writing on it. Okay. So let's see. What else do we have here? Obsessive nerd? You're hyperfixated as often as I do. Yeah, but on cool stuff. Get out of my lab. So this again is the fact Sans is pointing out that Wingerdings is over obsessive, and then Wingerdings retorts back and saying no, but the same thing can be said about you. You get fixated on things, and Sans retorts back by saying, yeah, but the thing is, I only get obsessed with cool things, whereas you're obsessing over this thing. And Wingerdings' total response to that is just get out of my lab. He just doesn't want to talk to Sans at the moment. The brothers are getting on each other's nerves. You smile. You don't need to understand the full conversation to get a positive impression. This is a note that was carefully taped up for a reason. It meant something to the owner of this room. Yet the note was also partially hidden behind some of the taped up diagrams. While important to the owner, they also didn't want others to notice it easily. How surprisingly shy. Cute. You're about to read another note when you catch a glint in the corner of your room, the corner of your eye. Okay, so far we've seen. Again, this is just my assumption. I think this is Sans with Wingerdings. It's the only thing that would make sense because, as I said, playing through the other route, Sans made it clear he worked alongside Wingerdings. So, and the way these two are talking to each other and the fact that they mentioned brothers, this has to be between Sans and Wingerdings because Papyrus didn't work in here. So I could be wrong in my translations though, or in my understanding of what is going on, but I think this is all to do with the fact that Tori wanted an experiment done. Okay, so let's move on to the next area then. We're going to go through the little, Yeah, we're gonna explore that little area, actually. Investigate the glint, because this is important to understanding Gaster more. The glint comes from a wall of shelves. On the shelves are smooth black marble plates with a reddish hue. You stare at them for several seconds, and you remember now where you'd seen such a thing. Magic plates. You recognize them from your history textbooks. They were used prior to the invention of video cameras. You see a lot of them still have a glow. You pick one at random and tap it, curious if it will still work. There's a long pause, and then the reddish hue vanishes. More colours take its place as the scene is built on the marble plate. It's a video with a grimy filter. The filter comes from the actual dust and grime on the marble plate. You try to rub it off to make it clear. It doesn't help much. These plates have not been cleaned or cared for in a long time, and you choose to focus on watching the video. Oh god, this is, oh no. You see a metal room and a table at the centre, and there are more tables beside it lined with tools. It's too blurry to see the detail of the tools. You infer it's similar to an old-fashioned operating room, due to the vague shapes and placement of objects. It actually looks remarkably similar to the previous room you were in, albeit with less equipment and messy papers. The image blinks. There's someone now on the table. It's a human woman. A knot forms in your gut as you realise she is without clothes. She is strapped down to the table. Her blue eyes are wide with blatant fear. And then you start to hear a whimper. Oh no, it feels unreal. You freeze, your mind doing an internal hiccup as you stare at the screen. The only time you've seen a similar situation was in a movie. But this is a vastly different situation. In a movie, you know it's not real. You know the scary things are make-believe and the people in them are okay. You do not think you've heard of any humans who have made it out of Underfell? No, according to Sans, 60 humans came down here and all 16 have died. 60, yeah. Every single one. Nobody makes it past Judgment Hall. Keep watching. You don't want to watch, yet you can't look away. I can't, because it's important to Wingerdings. A tall monster walks into the room. He has a long black coat that goes to the floor, and he doesn't look normal. The ends of it wave and flicker into a candled shadow. You feel a shiver down your spine. Hello, says the monster. It's one word. It's not a mean word. It's a word you could use. Hello. There's nothing wrong with that word, so why does it give you a shiver when he says it? She's plainly terrified out of her mind. Understandable. And his voice dips with freezing apathy. The red lights in his eyes are equally No. His gaze is not that of indifference. Indifference, you feel, would have been better. You have a bad feeling about this. I see my assistant has made you comfortable. Okay, so I am really curious if his assistance at the time here is Sans or if it's Alphys. Because I don't know if it's Alphys or Sans, because he did say that Sans used to work alongside Gaster, but we know that Alphys also is working alongside him, so it could be either of the two. I'm guessing most likely it's probably could be Sans that did this, but I'm not sure. I hope to God it was Alphys, since this is a woman, and, you know, a woman could remove the clothes, you know? But anyway, continues the monster. He has a deep and smooth voice, but you can't ignore the chilling undertone. There's a cruel curiosity to this monster, and his eyes remind you of a child who found a new toy. Oh no. He walks around the table and you can get a better look at him. He wears a red sweater underneath a black coat and a pair of black pants. He looks distinctly familiar. You think he reminds you of Papyrus and Sans, so perhaps he's a skeleton monster? He has long arms and white hands, perhaps bony hands. You squint to try and see. You can't tell. More white hands are conjured in the air around him. Only hands, no arms attached to them. One hand goes over to the table and picks up a metal tool. Another picks up a clipboard beside the woman and hands it to the monster. Please, the woman croaks out. Please, the monster repeats. I told you everything, she whimpers. Please let me go home. Yes, it is noted here that you've been very cooperative, says the monster in an agreeable manner. You are our first human contact since the sealing, so your kindness has been appreciated. On behalf of Underfell, we thank you. So, can I go? No, he says. We cannot leave. Why would you be able to do that? Her face screws up and her whimpers turn into hiccups as she starts to sob. Ah, yes, crying, because that will surely solve your situation. he says, sounding amused. Please, she croaks. Please, please. Goes the monster as he reaches on the table and pulls up another strap by her head. Please let me. He wraps the strap around her mouth and she falls silent. You see a glow around the strap. Perhaps magic? Was it enchanted to cancel noise? Probably for the better. Either that was probably used to stop her biting her tongue. Because I can't imagine being conscious in this that you're not going to attempt to try and bite your tongue. And try to end it right there that way. So that's probably a horrible way to go. I've been playing too much Corpse Party. That's better, he says with a smile. And that gives you goosebumps. He steps back and takes the tool that's been picked up by one of his floating hands. I'll start the dissection now. Dissection? Oh gosh, this is the part where I'm like, no. Look, I never had to do dissection in school. My school never did that. I know some places they do dissect animals and stuff like that, you know, for science. We never did that. I'm glad I never had to participate in dissecting anything at all, so the only thing I've ever dissected is my food. You know, cutting it with a knife and fork, you know, just eating it normally, you know. And dissecting a cake, like cutting up cake, you know, that's it, you know. This is completely different. Oh no. Okay, let's continue then. You realise that he's holding a scalpel, and he drags the blade from the centre of her chest down to her navel. You do not need to hear her screams to know who she was. Oh boy. Even behind the strap over her mouth, her expression is contorted into agony. This is so... I have a very active imagination, so this is quite hard for me because I keep vividly imagining this in front of me and my brain. She writhes and thrashes against the bindings on the table, but it's no avail. I know humans aren't supposed to turn to dust when they die, but it's been a long time. Who knows what has changed since the war? I have to be cautious. I don't want to waste this opportunity, he says. I will do my best to keep you alive through this process. Since I am doing my best, I hope you will also do your best to survive. He smiles, stretches. Then in the next experience, I will let you take some, you know, something to numb the pain. He pauses and smiles. Maybe. The video shuts off. The marble plate has a reddish hue again, red like her blood. You glance at the rest of the crystal tables. There must be hundreds of them. 100 experiments. You are numb. You feel nauseous. This is horrible. You feel terrible for the victims and you feel terrible for the monsters. Well, yes, but are we expecting any less? I mean, Gaster is technically the scientist, so are we expecting any less from him? Honestly, no. It would be weird if he doesn't do experiments, so I honestly... And thinking about it, I mean, I guess I can understand why he needs them to be awake. But again, we don't know what type of experiment it was, and we don't know the circumstances in which this lady fell down there. And moving on, she's already gone. So, yeah. Who am I to judge a man based on what he did in the past, you know? Otherwise, you know, I should be judging Elface. I should be judging Flowey. I should be judging Sans. But, you know... As they said, as Gaster said there, that was the first human to fall down there since the ceiling. So what were they supposed to do? Like, that was their first time of having a human in that situation. It was a shame it was a woman. And surprisingly, she survived Sans. Unless Sans brought her there. Or she was too weak, so Papyrus brought her there. Either way, though. Gosh darn it all. It comes in a wave of nausea. You feel your empty stomach churn and your throat burn. You swallow repeatedly to try and keep whatever is bubbling from coming up. The room suddenly smells foul and it's difficult to breathe. Your heart pounds painfully in your chest. Terrible. Awful. Horrible. A shudder goes through you like a cold wind on a wet day, and you finally shiver, wrapping your arms around yourself. Breathe. Breathe. Don't get sick. Don't get sick. You're okay. You're okay. You get it. You hate it, but you get it. The monster just lost a war against humanity, and we're probably getting used to their isolated underground. And the humans, their supposed enemy, falls into the lap. And also, we need to bear in mind, what did Papyrus and say? Every single human that ever came down there either acted like aggressively towards them or were hysterical. Like, they didn't really give them much of a chance. Whereas we've been polite and calm about it, assessing the situation and treating them like an individual instead of like, oh my god, it's a freaking monster, it's gonna kill me. But anyway, you don't think humanity, so fresh off the wall, would have been kind to a monster who escaped? It's a terrible situation, a tragedy. Biscuits, biscuits, biscuits. Ugh. You understand, you really do, but you can't accept it as the answer. You acknowledge the truth and you know it could be better. You can make it better. People, monsters, and humans can do bad things. And you want to show them it doesn't have to be that way. That's all you can do. You decide to look for more notes to read. So let's go and do that now.